The rain didn't just fall that night, it wept. Each droplet seemed to carry a secret, a sorrow, a weight too heavy for the clouds to hold. The streets of Lexington Avenue shimmered beneath the pale yellow glow of dying streetlights, puddles reflecting neon signs like broken dreams. Inside the small diner on the corner, Serena Carter was cleaning the last coffee mug of the night. The air smelled of butter, rain, and loneliness. The clock above the counter ticked past 11, reminding her that exhaustion was her only constant companion, but when she looked through the fogged window, her tired heart paused. Out there, beneath a flickering light, sat a boy in a wheelchair, drenched, trembling, alone. No umbrella. No parent. Just a child in the storm. Without thinking, Serena dropped the mug, its shatter drowned by the rain. She rushed outside, her shoes soaking instantly, her apron clinging to her legs. "Hey, sweetheart," she called over the wind, crouching beside him. "What are you doing out here all alone?" The boy's lips quivered. "I'm waiting for my dad." She looked around. Empty street. Not a car in sight. "Not tonight, you're not," she said softly. "Come on in. Let's get you warm." What Serena didn't know was that this small act of kindness was being watched by a man across the street in a black Bentley. A man who could buy anything in the world, except compassion, and tonight, that man was about to owe her something far greater than money. The diner's bell chimed weakly as Serena pushed open the door, guiding the boy inside. Warmth flooded over them. The air smelled of fried onions, old coffee, and comfort. She led him to the booth nearest the radiator and gently draped a towel over his shoulders. "I'm Serena," she said with a tired smile. "What's your name, sweetheart?" "Daniel," he replied quietly, still shivering. "Well, Daniel," she said, crouching so their eyes met, "you've got perfect timing. I just made my world-famous grilled cheese sandwich. And guess what?" She winked. "It's on the house." His eyes widened. "Really?" "Really," she said, heading toward the kitchen. Serena had been working at Lexington Diner for 8 years. Every paycheck went straight into rent, medicine for her mother, and her younger sister's college fund. She'd learned to live without luxury, but never without kindness. She cooked with care, humming softly as she buttered the bread, the way her grandmother used to do when money was scarce but love was plenty. Minutes later, the golden brown sandwich sizzled against the grill, the smell wrapping the room like a blanket. When she placed the plate before Daniel, grilled cheese beside a steaming bowl of tomato soup, his small face lit up like dawn breaking through storm clouds. He took one bite and closed his eyes, smiling for the first time that night. "This is amazing," he whispered. Serena chuckled. "Good food fixes bad days," she said, sitting across from him, folding her arms. "So where's your dad, Daniel?" He hesitated, playing with the crust of his sandwich. "He said he'd be right back. He had to make a call." Serena frowned. She'd seen parents forget, or worse, but there was something different about this boy. His clothes were fine quality, his watch expensive. This wasn't neglect. This was distance. Across the street, hidden behind tinted glass, a pair of cold gray eyes watched them. Raymond Holt, billionaire CEO of Holt Dynamics, sat in silence inside his black Bentley. He had returned just 5 minutes too late, and found his son in a stranger's arms. Raymond was a man of order, of power. He built empires, crushed competitors, and commanded respect in boardrooms from Tokyo to New York. But when it came to his son, he was helpless, locked out of a world of innocence he didn't understand. He gripped the steering wheel tightly. Who was this woman? Why was she feeding his son? But as he watched her smile, watched his son laugh, something in him cracked, something old and rusted. When Daniel finished eating, Serena helped him dry off, then tucked the blanket tighter around him. "Your dad's lucky to have you," she said softly. Across the street, Raymond felt those words more deeply than she'd ever know. Moments later, the diner door opened again. The sound of polished shoes echoed on the linoleum floor. "Daniel," a deep voice said. The boy's eyes brightened. "Dad." Raymond stepped forward, his tailored coat dripping rain, his presence filling the room. Serena looked up and froze. She'd seen him before. His face had graced magazine covers, news features, business articles. "Raymond Holt, the Iron King of Tech." "I'm sorry," he said curtly, pulling a handkerchief from his pocket to dry his son's face. "I was delayed." Serena stood awkwardly. "It's all right." He was cold and hungry. He turned to her then, his gaze sharp yet unreadable. "You work here?" She nodded. He paused for a moment, long enough to make her uneasy, then pulled a black card from his wallet and set it on the counter. "For your kindness," he said. Serena blinked. "Sir, I don't need." "It's not charity," he interrupted. "It's gratitude." Their eyes met. Hers soft, human. His calculating. Then he turned, wheeled his son toward the door, and vanished into the rain. When Serena picked up the card later, she saw his name embossed in gold. She didn't think much of it after that. But 2 days later, everything changed. The diner door opened again. This time, a woman in a gray suit entered, holding a sealed envelope. "Miss Carter?" she asked. "Mr. Holt requests to see you." Serena nearly dropped her tray. "Me? Why?" "Because," the woman said with a faint smile, "you did something that no one else has done in years. You made him feel." That evening, Serena stood at the towering glass entrance of Holt Tower, her reflection dwarfed by the city lights. Inside, marble floors gleamed and silence echoed. She was led into Raymond's office, a room that smelled of power and solitude. He was standing by the window, looking out at the skyline. "I offered you payment," he said without turning around. "You refused." "Yes, sir," she said quietly. "Because kindness doesn't come with a price tag." He turned, a faint smile ghosting his lips. "That's exactly why I want to hire you." Serena blinked. "Hire me? For what?" "For honesty," he said simply. "For perspective." And that was how the waitress from Lexington Diner became the personal aide to a billionaire. Days turned into weeks. Serena learned that beneath Raymond's polished armor was a man haunted by guilt, a man who didn't know how to be a father. Daniel adored her. Her warmth filled the empty spaces money could not. Slowly, she began to change the rhythm of their world. Late-night dinners replaced board meetings, laughter replaced silence. But one night, as she walked past the office, she overheard 2 executives whispering about her. "She's just a charity case," one sneered. "When Holt gets bored, she'll be gone." It stung, not because it was cruel, but because part of her believed it. The next day, she resigned quietly, leaving only a note on his desk. "Thank you for letting me remind you what matters." When Raymond read it, something inside him broke for good. He drove straight to the diner, the same one where it all began, and found her wiping tables, just as before. "You can't leave," he said, standing in the doorway. "I wasn't supposed to stay," she replied softly. "I was just passing through your world to show you a different one." He looked at her then, not as an employee, not as a stranger, but as the woman who taught him the meaning of humanity. "Then let me stay in yours," he said quietly. That night, the rain fell again, but this time, it didn't weep. It danced, and in a small diner on Lexington Avenue, a billionaire, a waitress, and a boy shared grilled cheese and laughter, proving that one act of kindness can rewrite even the coldest destiny. Moral: money builds walls. Kindness builds bridges, and sometimes, one small act, a meal, a smile, a moment of care, can turn a lonely night into the beginning of a new life.